Hey people, I'm going to show y'all some of the ancient Solomon's magic codes on this dime. And it's in ancient Hebrew code. Everybody thinks liberty is a Latin word. And if you're American, you think the teddy bear was named after Roosevelt. It often come with Mercury and Liberty on the front and a fash and olive branch on the back. But that one dime sure looks strange out there. And so I found the history of that, all those words. So this is in 1 Kings 11, and the beginning of this is talking about cut the tribes down, cut them down to 10 tribes, make a dime. And what caught me was, and says, and raised up God against him, Satan. And it says Satan here in the Hebrew, and then in the Septuagint, these lines were edited out. Then in this apocalyptic Bible, it spells Satan out again, and it never does that. God raised up Satan, and so it's always a Diablo or a derivative devil. And it comes up twice here, and it's spelled Satan both times, and they say it's an adversary. In 23, and God raised him up, and he was, and let there be, and yea, Satan. And so whoever Satan is, they thought that he, she, or it should be edited out. But that's what brought me here was this word liberty. Li, L-I, for myself in Berty, B-E-R-T-Y, I have chosen. On the back of this, you got an olive branch. An olive branch, that means the old family. I hear it takes 300 years before they start to produce olives. The old family line. And then the oak, and the ancient word for this is bacon. The acorn is bacon. It means anything edible that you can't eat, feed it to the pig. Let him digest it for you. That means we eat bacon. And to bring the light, to the old family, the strength, the age. And then Teddy, you'll see it on the same page. And it's right up there in those 3 lines that they had censored. But if you think about it, you know what it means. A teddy. Go get your teddy bear. Teddy means go to bed. Go to bed. Go get your go to bed bear. Go put your teddy on. Go put your go to bed on. A teddy means go to bed. And so this is the dark side here, the liberty. I have chosen to go to bed. I have chosen to sleep. This is the light side on the back, the strength, the fortitude, and the light. He says up here, take for yourself 10 pieces. Thus says the Lord God. And I will tear the kingdom out of hand, Solomon, give to you 10 tribes. And tribe 1 shall have he for the sake of my servant divide. Divide a 1 into 10. And so you got dimes. And for the sake of Jerusalem, this city for which I have chosen Bertie. Be, to the place that I have chosen. And then down here where I found this liberty, this city for I have chosen for myself, the Bertie Lee, for myself, liberty that I have chosen. To a sumsumism, and put my name on it there. To sum, to add up, the shame, the name, and a ism is a belief. King Solomon's magic, numerology. And so this is a long line, and you can tell it's got secret magic code in it right here. This line, telling you that you done read all this backwards before you come back up on here. But this word here will give you a good idea. The mem reads as the N, but it's the same word for the waters and the same word for the heavens. In the Greek, when it says, look at the hour on of, it's the heaven. So this is a I-N here, the N. It means the N, and it means, wherever the sun is, that's the time, wherever it's in. When the sun is in Pisces, it's Christmas time, and the N. And upon, to place. L is to, pin, to place. And upon over a slum, upon over a slum, her, the OI rating is E, H-E-R, her asservertily, asservertily. And so, vertily is standing up, I have chosen for myself. This is where I stand. I am vertily, is where that comes from. But people in the know knew to read this, as her, and the double R, this reading is I-S, is advertly. Overtly, just put it right out there in the open, in public, right in your face. So back in the day, that meant the church gets 10%, one dime. The N followed by the E becomes a bet, the B, the V, the Oviddy, to serve me, the sheep, mine, my sheep, Ovidemy. Put it right out there in front. And this would get you into heaven, one, to admit one. Of the fame Eureka, the O is of, the F reads over here, the fame rich, famous, of famous. United all together estates in the condition of famous rich, living good, living the good life. And you see he's done took off, this is his red bonnet, the war bonnet. And he fought for my choice. But then over here, 10% wasn't doing it no more. And we was wanting to get fat. We want bacon. But he still has my name right up there on the front of it. Ovidemy, my sheep. So on the front, it's in God we trust. And I choose to go to sleep. In God we trust. And here's my dime. And it's my payment. And you do your part now. I'm not going to get in your business. You just spend that money wisely. And then back here it says, Ovidemy, of my sheep, all together in condition, United States, of famous, of living good, of the bacon olive light, the bacon olive light, olive, that's the word for God in the Hebrew. And this is the same old Boone language here, the floor of us Wenham. When it comes time, be on the floor, ready to fight. The floor of us Wenham at that time. Back in olive light and ready to fight. So, it kind of means, liberty, your choice of what to think in God. And God in the Hebrew is spelled a bunch of ways, and your God is where the word science come from. That tells me that nobody else was reading this. And that was known as the God of the science it's on. The science it's on. And it means the signs. This A word reading backwards, the K or the C-I-E, and the L becoming an N before the A, the C-I-E-N. That's where the word science come from, knowing, sign. And the sign at sea wind. The sign at sea wind. And so back in the day, science was all astrology. You see the signs, and it would happen again. The same thing happened last time. Those planets were there, but those lights were in the sky. It happens again. The science was astrology. And the sign at sea wind. And Emil, Emil is a slave, But this is reading as Emil Sieve, C-I-E-V, To receive is when you're passing it between the team, or you had something, you lost it, and you got it back, you received it. But to sieve, is just like to receive, but, to get it the first time. And Himmel sieve, and then you turn it around here, so this is a double E, so it's a E-Y, they, Himmel sieve, they, why, call me. They call me because they want to receive. This is why this girl comes, the slave girl, Emil, it's a slave. A K is yours, your slave is what that should say. And Emil Sieve they why call me a Lolum Alice. Alice is the queen of the castle, the Alice. The people in the know are reading that backwards, and it's the sign. A sign, it's C-Win. T-S-I-W-N. The at C-Win led her. The sign that she saw and led her and would relive. The double L becomes an I, L-I-V. And then backwards and forwards, the E, the live ya, and would relive ya. It happens again and again. And Emulsive, they why call me. They call me because they wanted to receive the Lolum sign at sea when led her would relive ya. So I know y'all are more interested in about Satan over here and why it had to be edited out of the Greek. But this gives a lot better definition of Satan and from a titty hazard. But this is lustin, the lustin. And so Satan is your adversary. Satan is whatever force is holding her knees together most of the time. Most of the Bible about trying to get in her drawers. And so Satan is whatever holds her knees together. And lustin is to a connection of Satan. So I color-coded this Hebrew, Greek, and Latin to see what they might have been trying to hide. And I color-coded a little bit different this time. All the yellow boxes are the things that they capitalized in the Latin. But over here in the Greek, it says that Satan is the enemy of science. And they changed the word over here. You can see where they get this adversary from. But, adversarium, arium is the place. The place this happens, an aquarium, the place of the waters. And an adverse, when you're singing a song, adverse is when you change. Verse means to change. If your Bible is a version, it means it was changed. A little legal note that to make it legal with the auth. And that's why you see author on the front of your book, which is actually an ancient word that means this way it was written, not necessarily happened this way. It's read backwards. It's etwa. It means, it, and it means it's the way it's written. But, the adversarium, is the place for change, to at, change place. And Satan is up here. And society of it wove, hid whose adversarium. And a society of it, sus is under, and SCI, is where your word science coming from. Sight and smell, all coming from this. And sus, under sight of it. And quo Q is two questions. You can replace the Q, U with a vav. Vav, O, vav, E is W-O-V. It means wove, the fabric. How everything's connected. And it means quo, when, and why. When, why. Because it's all connected. And society of it, quote Q, the hid whose, and not seen, it's H-I-D, a hid whose, change verse place. And in the Greek, the first look at it, it looks feminine. Which gear it has sat on. Some have their gear in the front, some gears in the back. The women sit on their gear. But, the double S is changing this is to a Y, and it's a yada, to know. The adversary is to know, and then the N, and backwards starts with a A, not. And know not what on. To not know is the adversary of the scientist. And so this is a gyre, and it means to turn, like gyroscopic. As the earth turns, the thing raises up in the east. Who comes from the east and raised up. And, whose gyre, whose turn it has, yada, nada. The knowledge, not what on, a reason. Don't know why, don't know the reason. That's your adversary, that's Satan, the enemy of science. And Vion, why of, and the N before the E reading is a V. Why of, and not know the reason why of. Elude, E-L, the I-A reads as a U. A D, elude, and hides, and not seeing. As a fugin, as fled of, and the A word reading backwards, apo is away. But read backwards, is afar. The A word's reading backwards. Afar is her. And this king, this is the Dabs, D-A-B, the Dab Basilius, the honey house. To see back where you ought of. To see back where you ought of. This is the same word that says Lord, domino. It's over here, it's a Donnie over here in Hebrew. So when it says, Father, forgive them, for they know not, that's yada, to know, and not what on. They know not what on they do. That's a prayer to Satan. And so I'm sure this was spelled a little bit different and had some directional markings in the Septuagint. And that's probably why they had to remove it. And in the Latin, it's says side of it, under side of it, when, why, hid, whose, change, adversarium. And this is Genesis is talking about. Jenna is the first God when he calls to give me light, Jenna, give me light. And Jenna made tacos, Jenna made it roll. And you see that disguised over here in the Hebrew, the A word reading backwards. And so the double M, and then the L followed by the A reading as an N. It's Jenna. So this is like old Taylor Swift song about the birds and the bees, in the Hebrew here, God loved Satan, and raised up God lusting, and this against is never there. This is always he, she, or it, or two. And raise up God to Satan is lusting. And then over here, in the Greek, they're all queer. That's why your word for Lord, is KWR, queer. And Satan, she was just a damn whore, and she was fucking everybody, and yada, nada, what on reason. If you don't know yada, knowing not what on reason. If you don't know why, you're going to be fucked. But if you just read this without any reading directions, just straight through like you would read your English, it says, a whiff 'em, to smell 'em, raised up, and a whiff 'em all him lustin', the smell 'em all him lustin', at reason, is the reason been, not sons, but this is the time spent, where you been. I done been in her, I done been up in you. And that reason been all he do, all of them. I want every one of them do. That reason been all he do, assure a breach 'em a titty as her. A breach 'em, not fled, but to get out, A breach is when you done opened up her blouse and got you a titty. And assure breach 'em a titty as her. This assure is the mark you see in the Egyptian in front of a name, a royal name. It look like this, a seated God, I, me, just saying that this is who I am. And it's not a name, it's an ego. And you see it come before his cartouche, and he is assure a breach of a titty as her, a milkets of a had in of. And so a teddy, that's your Teddy Roosevelt, and it means the night. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna snuggle, I'm gonna breach it behind you and breach them titties, and breach them is what you're cuddling, and breach them a titty as her milkets of haddin. Who covets? Why covets? Ali wants them. Ali meaning high in an Arabic name, and covets all he wants them. A wiser. This is where your word Budweiser come from, the king of beers, and became captain over a W-I-E-I-S-R, a wiser, captain of, and Goodwood, G-D-W-D, Goodwood Burg. Burg is what you see on the end of a city, meaning the place where they do this type of work, a B-E-R-G, a berg. They're getting that killed from virgin. Virginly meant killed. But this is, welcome to the Goodwood Berg City, That means look at my heart on. And who covets all he wants some wiser, king of the beers, and captain over. And all he wants some wiser, Goodwood Berg, the ruler of Goodwood Berg. And dude Adam will cut 'em suck. This is the dude, D-U-D, the dude, it's Adam. The dude that's on them titties, And dude Adam will cut 'em suck. He sure could suck 'em. Who's the booby? B-U-B by Y, meaning how or who, S, who's booby, who milk of the musk. And yay, Satan, thank God for her, that old whore, And yay, Satan, lies are all, call 'em Islam, call all of Islam, call 'em Islam. The all comes over from here, lies her all, call 'em. Anybody who calls, she was screw, she's a whore. And lies are all, call 'em Islam. And the H in who, at, and hero, E-R-O-W, erotic, and that was the hero. And the hero was her, the odal, the O-E, the E turns into a vav, a W, and a was-er. A was-er means was in the past. He's an old was-er. And he was good back in his day, but he's now a was-er. What is the Egyptian symbol for that is a handle, a paintbrush handle, and a handle means the name. The name of it is a what. And the what hero and a was-er is a broken handle. It looks like a broken paintbrush. It was your favorite tool, but it's a was-er now. It's no good for nothing anymore. It's an old name, that's not used anymore. And what hero was-er? Was a hero back in the name, but not called by this anymore. And was ready, R-E-D-Y. D-D is a D-Y. And what hero was ready? Who fits in his role? This is fits, F-T-S, and you see it on the end, and it means, the end of a line, to fix the end of a line so it doesn't come unraveled. Who fix, who fix the ends, fix the details, and who fix in his role. And why more call arm? Why meaning how or who, whom will call arm, and call the arm, and it's written like that, so when you read it with the mark, it's more arm, to call more arm. More arm is to reach out farther, to go out there and conquer all the surrounding countries and collect their money too. So I know y'all are more interested in this, but I done took my teeth out. I'll let my mouth rest. I'm going to post this, and I'll make another movie, and I'll read this with the other reading directions, show what else is in there, and I'll read some more of this Greek here. And the Latin, oh God, it's so difficult. When somebody goes to school to learn Latin for law today, they don't learn biblical Latin. This is a totally different language. And the entire Latin language, it was the whole thing, it was just created in order to hide what was written here. They try to explain like there's a science behind the language, but their science is backwards. It changes up and reverses, same as the Greek and the Hebrew, the rules they try to put on that when they try to read it. The Greeks have to say that nay means yes in order to make any sense out of it. But I'm going to cut this off here and give me a hell yeah if you want to hear some more about this poem to Satan. A good day.